1,000 pounds, Sisters Season 6 trailer reveals new drama changes, TLC's hit reality series 1,000 pounds. Sisters returns this January with a new season filled with major life changes for the Slayton family. This time, viewers of 1,000 Pound Sisters will watch Amy Slayton and Tammy Slayton navigate emotional turning points that reshape their lives and test their bond. The beloved series continued to deliver the humor, heartfelt moments, and family intensity that helped make the show one of TLC's most popular reality series. This season on the Slayton Family series, Amy Slayton is focused on planning her Halloween-themed wedding to Brian. The celebration is filled with spooky decorations and haunting details that set the tone for her big day. She also heads to New Orleans for a lively bachelorette trip that adds even more excitement to the season. As one of the stars of the TLC Transformation series, Amy wants her wedding to feel unforgettable, and viewers will follow every step of her journey. This season, on the Slayton Sisters reality series, Tammy Slayton enters a bold new chapter of her life. After undergoing skin removal surgery, she begins embracing her independence. Tammy volunteers at an animal shelter and takes on more daily responsibilities, showing real signs of personal growth. Meanwhile, her relationship with girlfriend Andrea becomes a central storyline. As the couple plans to move in together, viewers will watch Tammy explore love, responsibility, and adulthood. Fans of the popular TLC Transformation show will see her face new challenges and seize exciting opportunities. Even with love in the air, the Slayton sisters face growing tension that pushes their relationship to the limit. Amy Slayton and Tammy Slayton struggle with jealousy, communication, and shifting roles within the family while trying to navigate major life changes. Their emotional clashes create dramatic moments, but also open the door to growth, healing, and a deeper understanding of each other. The new season delivers the heartfelt conflict, honest humor, and personal breakthroughs that define 1,000 Pounds Sisters and keep fans coming back. However, things between sisters Tammy and Amy Slayton are worse than ever ahead of a new season of their hit series 1,000 LB Sisters. The sisters, who were at one point also each other's closest friend, can barely be in the same room without hurling insults in a preview of the upcoming Season 8. Stream episodes of 1,000 LB Sisters for free on 9 now. Things pick up after Tammy and Amy came to major blows at the end of Season 7, as Amy felt like her family was against her and her relationship with now husband Brian Scott Lavorne. In a trailer released by TLC, which you can watch above, it's clear time has definitely not healed these wounds. Meanwhile, she admits it feels like she and her sister are drifting apart. "She used to be my best friend." The sisters hurl insults back and forth as Amy sarcastically calls her sister Queen Tammy, and Tammy calls Amy, who has 2 young sons, Gage and Glenn, a deadbeat mom. "I can't handle her toxic arse no more," Amy sobs. The trailer also teases big life steps for both sisters, as Amy plans her wedding and Tammy uses her newfound independence to go for a job interview. The star has lost more than 226 kilograms and underwent skin removal surgery to resolve the loose skin that remained after her impressive weight loss. "I'm just starting to figure out what I want to do in life," Tammy says. Tammy and Amy Slayton became household names when 1,000 LB Sisters premiered in 2020. At the start of their journey in 2020, the sisters had a combined total weight of a little over 1,000 pounds, 454 kilograms. Over 5 years, viewers have been along for the ride as the sisters battled to change their lives and have witnessed marriages, births, divorces, and deaths. In the last year, Tammy has left fans in awe as she kicked some major weight loss goals. In recent months, Tammy has made her relationship with fiancé Andrea public. She recently confirmed they were engaged after almost 3 years of dating. However, the Slayton family had gathered in the living room for what they called the Great Chris Review Day. Amy was arranging snacks, Tammy was parked in her favorite reclining chair, and the cameras were already rolling. TLC producers wanted to create a special episode celebrating Chris Combs and his funniest moments, but they needed new footage, something unexpected, something hilariously chaotic. And when it came to chaos, Chris was a natural talent. Chris had promised to cook a healthy family meal. He wore an apron that said, "Kiss the cook, but don't expect much." "Today," he announced, "we're making grilled chicken with a side of, vegetables." Amy raised an eyebrow. "Chris, you don't even like vegetables." That's why we gonna grill 'em till they taste like nothing." Within minutes, smoke filled the house. Tammy started laughing so hard her chair shook. "Chris," she yelled, "you ain't cooking, you're cremating the chicken." Chris, sweating and fanning smoke with a paper plate, replied, "It's called extra crispy, thank you very much." Even the camera crew couldn't keep a straight face. The next day, Chris decided the family needed exercise. He dragged Amy and Tammy to the gym, literally dragged Tammy's wheelchair when she refused to go inside. "Y'all said you wanted to get healthy," he insisted. Once inside, Chris hopped on a treadmill, but forgot to set the speed. The machine shot forward so fast his legs moved like a cartoon character. He nearly flew off, gripping the side rails while screaming, "This thing is trying to murder me!" Amy was laughing so hard she dropped her water bottle. Tammy, with her dead serious face, said, "Chris, the treadmill said I'm tired of your nonsense." He survived, but his dignity did not. During a filming break, Chris went into the confessional room to record a serious emotional message. Except, he didn't know the camera was already rolling. "I'm gonna say something deep today," he whispered. Real deep, like ocean deep. Maybe even Tammy's food stash deep. Tammy yelled from the hallway, "I heard that!" Chris froze like a statue and whispered, "Delete that part, please." The producers did not delete that part. For a family photo shoot, Chris decided to wear a suit he hadn't tried on in years. The buttons were fighting for their lives. "Chris, that suit looks tight as a pickle jar," Amy said. "It fits fine," he insisted, sucking in his stomach. One wrong move later, pop! A button shot across the room like a bullet and hit a lamp. Tammy wheezed, "You just tried to assassinate the lamp." Chris sighed. "Guess I'm wearing my stretchy jeans." Wanting to scare Amy for a prank, Chris hid behind a curtain, but he didn't realize Tammy was approaching instead. He jumped out shouting, "Rah!" Tammy didn't scream. She punched him in the shoulder and yelled, "Boy, I thought you were a ghost." Chris rubbed his arm. "Ghosts don't feel pain, Tammy, but I do." Everyone laughed for 10 full minutes. At the end of the special episode, Amy said, "Chris may be goofy, clumsy, loud, and dramatic, but that's why we love him." Tammy added, "And he gives us free entertainment. We don't even need Netflix." Chris grinned proudly. "Well," he said, "someone's got to keep this family interesting." However, the sun had barely risen over the quiet hills of Windsor Rehabilitation Center when Tammy Slayton rolled her wheelchair toward the garden. The early morning breeze calmed her nerves, but her mind was crowded with thoughts. For weeks, she and Caleb Willingham, her husband, had been struggling with something neither of them knew how to fix. Privacy. Caleb soon followed her, his oxygen tank making a soft hissing sound as he sat beside her on a wooden bench. The facility staff waved from a distance, but both Tammy and Caleb were too deep in their thoughts to notice. "Morning, baby," Caleb said gently, resting his hand over hers. Tammy forced a smile. "Morning. We need to talk, don't we?" Caleb nodded. "Yeah, we do." For a moment, neither spoke. The wind rustled the leaves overhead as if urging them forward. "I love being married to you," Tammy began, her voice trembling. "But living here, it feels like we're always being watched." Caleb sighed deeply. "I know. Nurses walking in without knocking, staff checking our vitals every hour, cameras everywhere. It's like we're living in a fishbowl." Tammy looked away, her eyes glistening. "We don't even get to spend time alone. You're down the hall, I'm in my room, and the only place we can talk is out here in the open." Caleb squeezed her hand. "We fought hard to be together. We pushed through surgeries, diets, therapy, but no one warned us how marriage would work inside a facility." He paused, then chuckled sadly. "You'd think our biggest fight would be about food. But nah. It's about getting 10 minutes alone without a nurse popping in." Tammy laughed weakly. "Facts." Caleb leaned closer. "I just want us to feel like a real married couple. To talk, to dream, to make plans. But here, everything is scheduled." Tammy's voice lowered. "And when we argue, everyone hears it." "That's the worst part," Caleb agreed. "A married couple needs space, and we don't have any." Tammy wiped a tear. She wasn't used to feeling this vulnerable, even with Caleb. "Sometimes I feel suffocated. Not by you, by the environment. It's like we're being treated as patients first, partners second." Caleb nodded slowly. "You're right, and it hurts." Suddenly, Tammy straightened up. What if we talk to the administrators? Tell them what we need? Not special treatment, just some privacy. Caleb blinked. You think they'd go for it? Why not? Tammy shrugged. We're adults, we're married, and we deserve a little dignity, even if it's just a room we can use for an hour a day. Caleb's face lit up. Like a couple's hour? Just you, me, and no interruptions? Tammy grinned. Exactly. And if that doesn't work, well, we'll keep fighting. We've been fighters our whole lives. Caleb leaned over and placed a gentle kiss on her forehead. That's why I married you. Later that afternoon, they met with the facility director. Surprisingly, he listened carefully, taking notes as they shared their concerns. I never realized how difficult it must be, the director said. You're right. Patients deserve privacy, especially married ones. Let me work out a schedule where you two can have private time in one of the therapy rooms each day. Tammy and Caleb exchanged wide-eyed glances. They had done it? Leaving the office, Caleb lifted Tammy's hand triumphantly. See, baby? We're unstoppable. Tammy smirked. We're the Slayton-Willingham power couple. They better be ready. That evening, sitting together during their first official private hour, Tammy said softly, I feel like we're finally getting our life back. Caleb pulled her into a gentle hug. This is just the beginning. Privacy or no privacy. We'll always figure things out. Tammy smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. For the first time in months, she felt peace. Their marriage wasn't perfect. Their circumstances weren't ideal. But together, they could face anything. However, when Series 1 of 1000 LB Sisters first aired, viewers thought they saw everything. But behind the cameras, late at night, during quiet rides home, and in the corners of the Slayton family's world, there were many unseen moments that shaped the entire season. This is the fictional, expanded version of those missing chapters. Before filming began, Amy and Tammy made a secret pact while sitting on the creaky front porch of their Dixon home. Fireflies glowed around them as Amy whispered, Tammy, no matter how hard it gets, we fight together. Deal? Tammy, breathing heavily but smiling warmly, replied, Deal, sis. And if I fall, you better drag me back up. This promise, unknown to the production team, was the heart of their journey. Cameras didn't capture the night the sisters sneaked out to the local 24-hour market. They told the driver it was for a few essentials, but the truth was far more emotional. Tammy wanted to practice walking longer distances. She leaned on her walker, sweating, but refusing to give up. Amy held her arm the entire time. Customers stared, but Amy stared right back. Mind your business. My sister's training, she snapped proudly. Tammy managed 137 steps, a record for her at the time. She cried in the parking lot afterward, embarrassed and proud at the same time. During their first weigh-in, Dr. Nelson gave a calmer, more gentle warning when cameras were off. Tammy, you're not a failure. You're someone who hasn't been given the right tools yet, but you can learn. And when you do, you'll surprise the world. Those words later echoed in Tammy's mind whenever she struggled. Amy tried to prove she could cook healthy meals. She failed spectacularly. She attempted to make grilled chicken with mixed vegetables, but the smoke alarm went off, the pan got stuck to the stove, and Tammy yelled, Amy, how did you burn water, waiter? They laughed so hard they cried. It was the first time in months that Tammy laughed without gasping. What the show didn't reveal. Tammy wasn't scared of surgery. She was scared of Amy succeeding without her. One evening, as rain splashed against the windows, she finally admitted, If you lose weight faster, will you leave me behind? Amy hugged her tightly. I'm losing weight so I can carry you, dummy. Tammy didn't answer, but her tears said everything. During one of the long drives to the bariatric center, their van broke down miles away from civilization. While waiting for help, the sisters sat on the hood and talked quietly about their childhood. How they'd hide in the school bathroom during lunch because kids teased them. How Amy dreamed of becoming a mom. How Tammy feared dying alone. It was the most honest moment of the season, never shown. One morning, when the camera crew arrived early, they found Tammy standing without her walker, holding onto the doorframe. She was shaking. Sweat rolled down her forehead, but she looked up and said, Amy, look, I'm standing on my own. The crew didn't film it because Tammy asked them not to. She wanted it to be her moment. Amy cried harder than Tammy. After Amy was approved for surgery, the family gathered in the backyard with sparklers. Tammy watched from a chair, silent, overwhelmed, and unsure of the future. Then Amy walked up to her and said, "Tammy, your turn is coming, and when you get there, I'm going to be the loudest one cheering." Tammy nodded slowly. "Then don't leave me behind on the road." Amy squeezed her hand. "Never." However, the early morning sun peeked through the curtains of Amy's little Kentucky home as she rushed around the living room, arms full of balloons, gift bags, and a giant pack of baby wipes. Today was the day she had waited for Gage's first birthday. It felt unreal to her that an entire year had passed since she held that tiny bundle in her arms. Now he was a giggling, wobbly toddler who loved mashed bananas and clapping his hands at everything. Amy tied a big blue balloon to the back of a chair and stood back to admire her work. "Dang, this looks good. Pinterest, watch out," she said proudly. Just then, Tammy rolled in with her walker, wearing a sparkling silver party hat that barely stayed on her head. "I brought snacks," she announced triumphantly, holding a box of fruit cups and a tub of sugar-free Jell-O. Amy raised an eyebrow. "Girl, this is a baby's birthday, not a hospital potluck." Tammy shrugged. "Well, it's healthy, and also I ate the chips on my way here." They both burst into laughter. The house was decorated in soft yellows and blues. A huge banner read, "Happy first birthday, Gage." Little sun cutouts hung from the ceiling, and Amy carefully placed a tiny golden crown on Gage's head. He immediately tried to eat it. "No, baby, we don't eat royalty," Amy said, swooping in. Gage giggled and clapped. Soon, Chris, Amanda, and Misty arrived, each carrying something random and chaotic as usual. Chris was holding a giant wrapped box. Amanda walked in with 2 bags of confetti shaped like chicken drumsticks. Misty brought a homemade cake that leaned dangerously to one side. Chris hugged Gage and said, "Lil man, if you're anything like your mama, you're gonna love cake. But don't worry, we got plenty. And by we, I mean Misty, 'cause I can't bake to save my life." The house filled with laughter, chatter, and Amy's constant yelling, "Don't touch that!" Everyone gathered in a circle as Amy sat Gage on her lap. The first gift was from Tammy, a soft plush elephant. "I wanted to give him something cute," Tammy said shyly. Gage hugged it immediately, and Tammy's face lit up like she'd won a prize. Next, Chris gave Gage a tiny set of rubber tools. "Start him young," Chris said. "If he's anything like me, he'll be building stuff by 2. Then came Amanda's gift, a giant baby-sized hoodie that said, "Mama's Little Legend." "He gon' grow into it," she declared. The highlight of the day arrived, the cake smash. Amy carried out a small round smash cake, decorated with yellow frosting and a sun on top. Misty nervously eyed her own lopsided cake on the counter. "Okay, Gage, baby, go for it," Amy said excitedly. Gage poked the cake. Then he slapped it. Then with absolute determination, he stuck his whole face into it. Everyone screamed and laughed at the same time. Tammy wheezed from laughing too hard. Chris yelled, "That's my boy!" Amanda took a million blurry photos. By the time Gage lifted his head, frosting was everywhere on his cheeks, his nose, his tiny eyelashes. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina. Hope your day is so well. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel.